Don't underestimate the soft skills you will need in a tech job. It's fine to be an introvert or extrovert, but the personality traits that you show or hide can make your coworkers miserable, or you miserable. I will share some of my observations for your consideration. Ganka, welcome to No Coders Allowed.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Thank you for joining. So this episode, I want to talk to you about personalities that you should have, soft skills that are great for tech jobs. I think it's a topic that is overlooked, underestimated. So I want to go through a few things that I've seen that is important, that we should consider, that a person should consider going into a tech job or a job in the software industry. But before I go too far, please tell us about you.
Well, so I, as you know, I live in Maple Valley. I'm a mom of two kiddos. I have a 10-year-old son and a almost 12-year-old daughter. I work in the real estate industry part-time, and I work also in education, elementary, in a school, the local school district. I have had career in the hospitality industry. I've worked in the in hotels. I've worked in the beauty industry. So I'm somewhat Renaissance woman.
Renaissance woman, yes.
Yes. So I have. Speaking of soft skills, I feel like I have quite a few of those mastered.
The topic of this episode is perfect for you.
Well, thank you for having me.
No, you'll find out as we start, you will realize that it's perfect for you. Awesome. Yeah. So my interest in personality started when I was a flight attendant. I have tried many things too. It was in that job when I realized that how people look at you matters a lot. And yes. As a flight attendant, I cannot be introverted. I cannot just walk down the aisle and pretend I didn't see them trying to get my attention. Absolutely. Because I don't like to talk to people. I have to talk to people in that job.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And, yes, and I think that it's incredibly important, in, especially in the hospitality industry. That's just making people feel welcome and just greeting them. It makes their day. You may 100%. Be 1 minute of their day, but it may be that 1 minute that they will remember for possibly years to come.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I realize that to me, I may do this every week. This sounds snobbish. I may go to London every week. But for them, they may have saved up their entire life, and this is their London trip. And there you go, have this arrogant flight attendant who's ignoring you when he's walking by you. So I've come to appreciate that. And when I went into school for psychology, that even reinforced more of my thinking and the values I put and the importance I put on personalities. And I was initially interested in forensic psychology, like the extreme kind of psychology, the criminal type. But in learning that, you have to learn the basic, the personality and how we measure it, what it means and all that. So there was I remember taking a course in administering personality tests. I was at John Jay College of Criminal Justice. And in that role as a professional forensic psychologist, you have to administer personality tests to people who are behind bars because they're up for parole, because they are heading into a trial, and you want to be able to tell the judge that this person is a sociopath or not. And there's one particular test called the MMPI, Minnesota Multi-Phasic Inventory, I think. It's been a while.
We'll
And
go
that
with
question
that.
that has 500, if I'm not wrong, if I'm remembering this correctly, 567 questions, true or false. And initially it was kind of fun to be able to get to the end and see your results.
And do you just
But
sit down with them and you ask them the question and you kind of jot down their answers?
that is the worst part. Imagine you administering this test with a convicted felon in prison, in a
And I'm
room.
sure that some of them are probably not too joyful to be around.
Nope.
If they've been behind bars for many years.
Nope. Yep.
And
You're talking to
they've probably
rapists.
committed some interesting.
You're talking to very bad people
there.
most of the time.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's not fun. That sort of made me decide I want a different career path. The idea of getting locked up in a room.
The natural answer was
software.
Software. Because why
not? Yeah. It's I want to deal with normal people. I don't want to deal with criminals. It gets to you. Anyway, that's for another show. So there are ways. The study of personalities. So it's in my background. It's interesting, and I like to apply it to the software world, and especially in this episode, we'll talk about that. So we should start with a definition, or at least Steve's definition of personality. I think that would be a good way to frame things that we talk about. So I view personality as observable behaviors from us that's perceived by other people. It's like the tree falling in the forest. Does it make a sound? Kind of a logic. If no one is there to watch me lose my cool, throw a tantrum, does it really matter? If no one in the world, if a person is stranded on an island and he's really bad-tempered, who cares? Because there's no other social beings around him. So it doesn't matter. But it matters when there are other people in your professional or your personal life. And then your personality becomes interesting and meaningful and have consequences, right?
Yeah.
So I see it that way. And traits, traits, traits are little definable things that feed into your overall personality. You could be impatient, you could be insecure, you could be very confident, and all these traits and the way you express yourself form that overall your personality. That's my definition. And the key, I think, is it could be real or perceived. Many times we get into a situation where we get, let's say for me, I get terminated from a job, right? And my thinking is, but that's not who I am. You are accusing me of being not confident, but I'm very confident. But what really matters is what other people make of you and your personality, not what's in here. And the way I think about it is what's in here is cognition, is your thoughts and your values. What you show because of that becomes your personality that people see and interpret. Like, oh, someone described you as an asshole because they see certain behaviors or words you use or social media posts or actions, right? And that, of course, is driven by how your thought process and how if your logic is warped, you look at a certain thing differently than they do. And then you show it, you say it, you type it in a Facebook post, and people go, yeah, that person is an asshole. That person is stuck up. That person is blah, blah, blah. And that bleeds into work a lot. And we'll talk about that in more detail. To me, the analogy that I use a lot is personality is like the clothes you wear when you go out of the house and people see you. Your cognition is what you wear. No one cares. If you wear a dirty shirt at home, no one cares. Only your family sees you. That's fine. But when you go out, you put on a suit and a tie, you put on a dirty shirt, the outside world sees you and think that, ooh, that one is not a professional person. Yes. Whatever it may be. So that's the analogy, and I think it makes a lot of sense. The other thing that's related that we see a lot is the word persona. I view persona as a front. It's crafted. It's made up that we put on to go out to certain scenarios and environment and context. And that is incredibly important because I believe we need to put on different personas for different situations. You go to a dinner party, you put on that giggly, chatty persona. You're sitting down to do homework that's late and from your daughter that has a D. Sounds real, right? Because it is. I put on a different persona. My persona is no more iPad, no more electronics until you're done. Dad is serious. Right? That is serious. I'm not going to be chatting with you. I'm not going to be chatty. I still love you. But the persona now is dad sitting down with you to fix your bad grade. So that's my persona. I cannot bring that to work. That'll be bad.
Yes.
Right? So that's a persona. And I think if the analogy of clothes is good, then it means that we should have a wardrobe of personas that you can pick and choose from, and switch back and forth.
What am I going to be today? Who am I going to put on today?
Yeah, it's different than split personality disorders. That's like a whole different show, right?
The split personality disorder, I feel like it's more involuntary. We don't have control over it, right? It kind of happens to us.
Correct.
Or to
supposedly.
Luckily not to me.
But unless they're pretending. Yes. It's supposed to be real. The way to look at it, the way to make it more pronounced about personas in your wardrobe is the people in the service industry, and you know this, I'm very sure you know this, when you clock in to work and you're standing behind a reception desk to have guests come in, you put on a persona, you put on a turkey.
Oh, absolutely.
Welcome. If they're difficult, if they're being an a-hole, right? When they are gone, you can curse all you want.
Yes. We always used to joke when I was working at the hotel, we always used to joke about, you have your phone voice on. When we would answer the phone, every single one of us, without fail, had a phone voice.
Phone voice.
Completely different than the regular people voice. It was always, how can I help you?
It's higher pitch.
I don't talk like that. Where did it come from?
That higher pitch. The higher pitch phone voice.
Yes, it was always a hotel personality that came through. It was expected, and I'm sure the hotel guests appreciated it, and they expected it because that's what's expected of the people who check them into the hotel.
When I do drive-throughs too, I meet all kinds of wonderful personalities at the fast food restaurant. Sometimes they are moody. Maybe they're going through a breakup.
Yeah.
That's another topic altogether. Yes. So why is this important in tech? It's important in tech because it's the very first thing that you need to make sure you get right to even land an interview. But we'll go into that in a minute. But it is a first world problem in the sense that a lot of people don't have a choice to wonder if the job and their personality is a fit, because you have to pay the bills. You need a job. You have to pay the rent. I'm not gonna wonder about whether I should take this job because I'm kind of an introvert. No, you have bills to pay. You take whatever job you have. Tech job can sometimes they get to pick and choose, so they can be a bit more picky about. This company is very fun. I'm fun, so I'm going to go for the fun job. This company is kind of like boring, so I'm fun, so I don't want that job. A lot of people don't have that luxury, right? But for those who do, which is what this episode is about, there are a few things that I think someone has to make very, very clear going into a tech job, considering whether you should accept an offer or not. And that is, they call it, let me look it up, make sure I don't screw it up. It's called the Herzberg two-factor theory. And what that really is, they also call it the motivation hygiene theory. What it is 2 bars. The first bar is, what is the bar that I need to go past to make me happy about this job? It's the happiness bar. Am I going to be happy at this job? Do I love it? Do I like it? That bar. That's one bar to aim for when you find a job. You ask yourself, is this going to be, am I going to be happy there? The other bar, the bottom, is what is that line where I will not be miserable, right? So that's a different bar. And a lot of people use the bottom bar because they have no choice. I just need to pay my bills. I don't want to be miserable. I don't have to love the job. It has a paycheck. Yeah. That's good enough for me. So those are the two bars. A lot of people get stuck or they're confused, or they go into a job thinking that they'll be happy. But in reality, what it really does, it passes their bottom bar. They only can say that I won't be miserable. But they thought that means that they'll be happy. And it's totally okay to meet one bar and be in the middle to keep yourself employed.
And I would imagine earlier in one's career, they're closer to the bottom bar, and the longer they stay in a career, or like later in their career, they get closer to the.
That's right.
They have the option to choose.
And setting that first top bar to find a job at the beginning of a career could be a bad start. I want to find a job. And a
lot of young professionals make that.
Yeah. I want to be happy. It's the same as youngsters.
Yes.
Unfortunately, when they shop
with big degrees,
and when they buy their first car, I want to have a car that I love, that has V6 and
it's fast and beautiful and shiny.
That's the bar up here. And the bar is, it moves, it brakes, and you're good. You won't be miserable with the car, and that's the bar that we're aiming for. And next time when you have a job and mom and dad doesn't have to pay for your car, you can aim for that.
I was literally just watching, sorry to interrupt you, that real quick, that interview with Ben Affleck today. What did he tell his son? I'm rich, you're not. They were talking about sneakers, $5,000 sneakers. No, I'm rich. You're not.
Is this
you can't buy those sneakers. Ben
is this all over TikTok? Is this on TikTok?
They were walking by sneakers and they caught that on the camera, like really casually.
God,
so it was the same thing.
He told the kid.
He told his kid, his son.
No.
I'm rich. You're not. Get a job if you want to buy $5,000 sneakers, kid.
That hurts.
Same thing. Like if you want to buy a fast car, you have to get the job to get that car.
Yep. Like, so it's the same. It's the same
for it.
Yeah. If you think you're gonna roll out of college and walk right into a Facebook job or a Google job and pay gazillion. No, just get a job, because you cannot keep living in my house, So that is the first dimension where it's important to you, because you need to set that bar, your personality, right? Am I going to be happy or am I going to be miserable? That's all you. There is another side to it, and that is the employee side. It's important. Personality is important, not just to you, but to them, because most companies, let's say for-profit companies, care about revenue. They don't care about developing your personality traits and make sure that you're Mother Teresa at the end of your career with them. They care about revenue. There is this thing called RPE, revenue per employee. So they do the math where they go, we hire this person for 100K. How much does this person bring in for the company? And different industries have different RPEs, like expectations of RPE. I did a very quick research, and I found that, for example, food and beverage business, the RPE is about 30 to 80K, which is very interesting because it almost correlates to how much they're paying the employee. So the RPE is quite low. You may pay someone 50 grand, and you expect them to bring in about 30 to 80 grand for your business. So it's almost overlapping. And if that keeps going, it may not be sustainable to be paying and making amount, and then you net out to be zero, at the end of the year. Food and beverage, that's a food and beverage. Retail, 50 to 150K. I don't think Gap pays the sales associate 150K. They probably pay them like 60, 70 or something like that. So the RPE is a little higher. Construction, 120 to 300K. So we're getting higher and higher now. And construction is understandable. They land $1 million contracts. So when they're done and they hire a crew of 20, the math better work out because payroll is going to eat up all your profits. Tech, $300 to $1 million. So for a prestigious company like say Apple or OpenAI, they would expect each employee to pull in that much money per what they pay them. So let's say they get paid 300K, it won't be unreasonable for them to expect that person on average to bring in $1 million for the company in a year. So the RPE is important to the company, and that's why they have to hire the right people with the right personality. Because if they hire a Debbie Downer or a wrong person, that could really drag the team down and kill the morale and kill the productivity.
Yes.
So that is the why it's important. It's important to you. It's important to your future employer as well. And from my experience, companies also care about your personality because they don't want to hire the problem child. They don't want to hire the bad apple that will ruin
to destroy the whole team, probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There was a scene I recently did a Val Kilmer marathon, and I watched the movie Heat, 1995 Heat with Robert De Niro, Al Pacino.
I need to watch it again. It's been so many years since I saw it.
Very dramatic. A lot of storylines, very dramatic, and a lot of shooting.
I miss good 90s movies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I love Robert De Niro.
I did too.
Look at me.
The drama, the overly exaggerated acting. I love that.
To me, it's the movie with the most scenes in a cafe, in a restaurant. There's a lot of sit downs, a lot of talking, and then Robert De Niro with his face. And Al Pacino and Robert De Niro have very distinctive styles, right? They're always consistent, and it's fun to watch them. I will do my Al Pacino and Robert De Niro impression, but that's for another episode. But there's one scene where
I'll be waiting for this.
There's one scene where Robert De Niro is going to shoot somebody. I'm going to ruin this. Spoiler alert! If you're going to watch it, fast forward. There's one scene where he shoots somebody in the face, in the chest, and he wanted, out of principle, for that person to look at him in the eyes when he shoots him. And so he said, "Look at me, look at me, look at me." So when the guy looked at him, shot. Oh, anyway, I'm digressing. So in a scene, there was a character that he was released out of prison. He was on parole. His parole officer told him to go to a restaurant to talk to so-and-so for a job. And the manager didn't even look him in the eye and said, I had the line written down so I won't mess it up. So he said, "You familiar with this kind of operation?" And the ex-convict said, yeah, I'm a great grill guy. And the guy said, yeah, good for you. Here, you mop the floors, you clean the toilets, you take out the garbage. You give me a hard time, I'm going to report you as drunk, stealing, or loaded with drugs. I'll violate you so fast your head will spin. And finally, 20% of your take home kicks back to me. Got it? So that was the bar of like, I don't want any problems from you, bar from the employee. Right? And so I'm sure the tech industry doesn't have that kind of a harsh hiring criteria or screening.
Yes.
That was an extreme example of how some employees don't want to have that problem child because it could poison the entire team. But that manager at the restaurant is a different breed, so that is different. So moving along, your personality shows up first at a interview, the recruiter that's talking to you, that's the first moment you have to be aware of how you come across to the tech world, right? The HR, the first representative of the company that you will see. And to them, they are looking for they're looking quickly for signals from you and your personality. And I think it's easier to catch bad signals than hunt for good ones. So I have been hired, obviously, and I have hired. And I tend to have my radar on for the bad signals, bad personality signals. And my top three are the know-it-alls, the people who come into interview and they tell you, yeah, I've done that. Yeah, I've done better. I've done more. No. And they are very know-it-all because they want to impress you. They think they are wowing you, but they're actually coming across as obnoxious and arrogant. So I'm very sensitive to that signal because I don't want to embed that into my company or my team and have that super type A person kill my team or make other people miserable. The second one I don't like that I scan for is obsequiousness. I learned that word few years ago. Being obsequious is pretty much a brown noser. You agree to everything. And I've seen a lot of those. And I would say something like, the Google Cloud is really cool. And they would say, yeah, I love Google Cloud. It's my favorite. Oh, I have it tattooed on my chest. And they are always agreeing with you because they're being obsequious. They're sucking up. They're saying, yes, whatever you love, I love too. Man, we are kindred spirits. And that is a very bad signal, a very bad personality, because I know that that person doesn't have a mind of his or her own. And they are just being a yes person, right? Yes. So that's dangerous. And the third one that I scan for personally is baggage. People who go into an interview and they make way too many negative references or stories from their old company about how they were screwed, about how the previous manager didn't like them. And
they had it out for them.
Had it out for them. It's the same thing as going on the first date and that date is talking about the ex.
Yes.
Right? You're like, fine, put it behind you. Let's start afresh and tell me about you. Don't tell me how people hurt you or it's not the time for that. It's time to be baggage free and travel light when you interview.
Yes.
So I think that is important because that's the first point where people screw up and put on the wrong clothes for an interview, put on the wrong persona, present the wrong personality. Past that stage, suppose you are hired, there's a very critical phase where you are the new guy, the new girl. And I think a lot of eyes are on you because of that. Because people will talk about you. Go, hey, how's the new guy? How's the new girl? How is Ganka? How is she holding up? Is she learning quick? Is she getting things? Does she need a lot of hand holding? A lot of eyes are on you. So that's the second phase where you are on the radar, on a lot of people's radar, and people are more critical. People pay attention to you a bit more. And that is the time where you have to figure out very quickly, am I emitting the right signals for the right reasons? And they will judge you, not judge is a harsh word. They will assess your personality based on not just Zoom calls you have with them, but on your writing, how you respond to messages. Unfortunately, if you use emojis, if you respond to customers correctly, it will size up. And it's very dangerous when two or more people observe almost the same negative behavior of yours, come together and share data points, and they go, oh yeah, I saw that too. Then you're cooked. Right? Yes. Because they're confirming data points to go, yeah, I saw that happen too. And then they will escalate it, and then it won't be a good ride for you. So that initial part of your career when you're new is good. The good news is there's always a newer guy on the block, right? Newer hire, and that's when the radar is like toned down because they need to pay attention to the new guy. And that's when you are off the hook a little bit, and hopefully that will remove more eyes from you, and they don't have to worry about you anymore. And that is a time where you tweak and tune your personality to what the rhythm of that company is. And I'm quite sure it is something that is not unique to tech. I'm sure it's everywhere, right?
Yes,
In your
yeah.
industry, when you see a new person working for the school, a new hire that you interviewed last week, and now they are starting day one. That first week, you are watching them like a hawk, right? To see,
Absolutely. Yeah, I noticed it in other industries too. It's always like that interest. Ooh, are they gonna do good? Are they gonna be okay? Are they gonna? How is the new person? Are they fitting in well? Even in like I volunteer. I'm involved in a few organizations where I volunteer. Where it's always, oh, how is the new person? Are they picking up some work? Are they doing their hair? Are they excited for the job? Are they actually showing up
yeah,
and doing the work? Or are they did they take the job just so they could say, I'm part of the organization and just put that badge on their chest and be able to say that and then
yeah,
never do anything? Because
yeah.
that's
Some
been
people
the
don't
case
carry.
sometimes too.
Some people
Because
don't carry their weight, right?
yes, believe it or
And
not, it's that's happened too with
yeah.
volunteer work.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yep. They're just pretending volunteer to virtual signal, but they're not there to work. They're just there to
Yes.
socialize.
Or just to be able to, yes, to say that they are part of an organization for their resume or for whatever
Yeah.
unfortunate reason. Yes. So,
That's very true.
yeah. But yeah, definitely eyes are on them
Yeah.
a lot more, especially in the beginning until we realize, oh, they definitely are pulling in their weight. They're working or
Correct.
they shouldn't
Correct.
be here. Yeah.
They're wearing the wrong clothes to work.
The I'm doing nothing
Yeah,
clothes.
I'm doing that, and they're not wearing any clothes to work.
Yes,
They're
what
naked.
was it? The king is the king's
Yeah,
heels.
that's right. That's right. So there are things I feel like a person who's going into a tech role, tech job has to pay attention to, because you have to pick from your wardrobe of different personalities, right? And what you pick depends on where you're going. The analogy is pretty good for that. If you have a IC job, a independent contributor, if you're a manager, if you're a lead, you put on a different persona. If you're a lead, you gotta take charge. You gotta be more strategic and more directive, right? You have to call the shots a little bit. If you are customer facing, you have to be chatty, you have to be extroverted, you cannot be shy, you cannot stay off camera when you are on Zoom. You have to interface, you have to talk to people.
You have to be more customer service oriented.
Yeah.
Sure, definitely. You have to put more effort into remembering people's names and be able to recognize faces and try to remember little bits and pieces of information about people and say, hey, how was your trip last weekend? Did you have fun?
I know.
Like, so they can feel connected and feel welcome.
I know there's a trick in the service industry where they try their best to remember your name.
Yes,
right?
Names are incredibly important.
They call you up,
Yes, yeah. People feel so good when you remember their name. They're like, "What? You've seen me twice, and you remember my name?" And
makes you special. Makes you special, right? And so customer facing, there are very technical roles that are customer facing. So if you find out that a job is incredibly customer facing and you don't like to talk to people, don't go near it.
Don't do it.
You will fail. You will just fail.
It's
Yep.
Teachers don't go into teaching for all the money they make. They do it because they love children. They love doing it. They love teaching. They love
Note to self: if you don't like children, don't be a teacher.
Go into teaching.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah, so customer facing is important. Cross-functional roles are very important. That means that you have to go talk to the business guy, talk to executives, talk to another engineer, talk to the writer, because you have to switch gears constantly. You cannot bring your rhythm to the business and start talking tech terms. You cannot go to the customer support person and start talking business terms that they don't understand. So if your role is cross-functional, that requires you to be okay with switching gears constantly. My role is very cross-functional and very customer-facing, so I'm okay with that. There are roles that are very operational, which means they are very tactical. They don't require you to face customer as much, but you do need to be at the factory floor to make sure that things are running smoothly. And that may have a lower bar for facing customers, and so it's a more easy job for some people.
So you would mostly be interacting with people who work with the technology and would be more familiar with the terminology that you use.
Correct.
In your
so let's say you have let's say you have a tech job. The job is to maintain the website.
Yes.
Your job is to make sure the website runs, it doesn't crash. That is your role. That is what you do well. You don't have to go out to the field or to users to ask them, hey, what do you think about our web page? Do you like the blue button? Do you like? That's not your job. Your job is more operational. You make sure things are running.
So in
those
that
are
case,
different bars.
Yeah, it would be perfectly fine if you put on your tech personality in the morning. It would mesh really well with other people's tech personalities at your workplace. Correct. Because you all speak the same language and you
Correct.
Yes, yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I pull up some examples of tech jobs, and I'll show you one right now that seem to be an engineering job. So it says we're hiring for, and these are real jobs. I apologize if companies are mentioned, but they're really good companies. So this one is they're hiring an engineering evangelist or a QA, quality assurance QA, engineering evangelist. And if you are a tech person who loves to be left alone, this job might not be for you because they want you to create engaging content across for professionals across the globe on YouTube and other channels. So if you don't like to be on camera, maybe this job is not for you, right?
Please, so I think this is for us.
This is for us.
I think you and I should.
Let's go apply for this job.
Can we share it? Can two people share the position?
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm just joking.
So that job was for us. Now, let's see this one. About the role, the research tools team. Now, when I see research tools, I'm thinking this person is supporting an internal tool. They're not going to talk to customers likely. They're looking for an experienced software engineer for our human feedback interface, system design, technical leadership. Very collaborate with under the responsibilities, collaborate with researchers to develop front-end and back-end infrastructure. This job, to me, screams internal. I'm going to support a team, work with other teams to build something that we will ship to users. I don't have to worry about what the users feel about the product. I'm going to be working, and it will have a lower bar for being customer facing. So those two jobs, although they're engineers, have very different requirements and will have, and depending on the person, may fit very differently. And there are a lot more. I scan through this once in a while for friends, and I would tell them that's not a good fit for you because they want you to do TikTok. They want you to do dance moves. And you cannot dance.
Dances. The trending sounds.
I love the TikTok video where they do a clumsy move and they go like, this is how you do it. I can't dance to save my life. Anyway, those were some of my thoughts on personalities and soft skills, going into the tech world. I like to conclude every episode with a segment called 3 facts, 2 myths, and 1 opinion. So I will share with you first the 3 facts. So these are things that I observed that's hard to argue. And if people disagree of my facts or my myths or my opinion, they can have their own show where they can have their own opinions. So let me take a drink. I just spilled water all over my face while I'm drinking. Maybe I shouldn't be customer facing. Okay.
You have a sippy cup like me. With a little.
There you go. I need a straw. That's what I need. The first fact is, drum roll, you have to work with people. You cannot deny that. There are very few jobs in this world that do not require you to work with people. A very few. Maybe that guy who climbs up that tall tower to change the light bulb 500 feet up in the air. Other than that, most of us have to work with people. You can't get away with it. Or you are locked up in the basement of a factory where you are making sure that the machine is running.
The guy in the basement. Otherwise, in office space that was banished there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so number 1, that's the first fact. You have to work with people. Number 2, you have to deal with a wide range of personalities, specifically for tech. You have to deal with all kinds of people. Don't expect everybody to be extroverted. If you're super chatty, don't expect to join a company and expect every person that you meet to be, oh, like you, chatty. What did you do last week? I'm very chatty. I talk about all kinds of stuff, maybe too much with people. I like to start my conversation with a person when I'm meeting for the first time with, oh, where are you from? Where are you geographically? I don't know why I asked that. I just like to play geography with them. And then they would say, oh, I'm in Louisiana. And go, oh, cool, Mardi Gras, yeah. So I like to chat. But I cannot expect people to be like me, and I have to be ready to adjust. And likewise in tech, when you go in with your own clothes, your own persona, other people have their persona, and you got to find that middle ground to have a good conversation, a productive relationship. So that's number 2. Number 1, the last fact that I have is your observable behavior, which is what we talked about, is what people use to decide or interpret your behavior or your personality. What you write, what you say, what you do, your actions, real or perceived, whether it's they made a wrong assessment or not, that's what they use to decide who they think you are. Moving on to 2 myths. Are you excited?
Yes.
2 myths.
Let's see.
First myth is, you know what? I will be myself. I'll be honest, and I'll say what's on my mind, and I'll be fine. No, don't. Because what you wear at home is different than what you wear outside. So if you are yourself, you speak your mind, you feel like honesty is the best policy, maybe that wouldn't work at work. Because some people feel like being authentic is my principle. So I'm authentic at customer calls. I'm authentic at team meetings, at executive reviews. And maybe you shouldn't be, because you won't last at a job for too long. You have to put on the right clothes and maybe keep your mouth shut sometimes, maybe be more vocal other times. So that's myth number 1. You cannot be yourself. Sorry,
Yes.
That's the first myth. Right. Imagine me being myself.
Without the filter. It would be so hard to manage relationships.
Yeah, exactly. Second myth, only 2 myths. The second myth is, I'm a nice guy, I'll be okay. The nice guy, nice person, nice face discount will only get you that far. It may unlock one level for you, but there are other factors that guarantees your job and how happy you are if the company doesn't make money and it shuts down, you being a nice guy, it's not going to save your job, right? If the company lays you off because there is a need to do a layoff, they like you, they'll take you out for a beer, but that's all there is to it. It's not going to save you. So being a nice guy, being a nice girl, a nice person, I'm not saying you shouldn't be, will only carry you that far. There are other aspects to you and your personality, your output, your quality, your brand that factors into the larger picture of staying employed in the tech world. So that's myth number 2. And then the final one, which is usually the one that people will disagree with, but again, if they have other opinions, they should voice it in another platform. So I feel like the game, it's a game. The whole thing is a game, and this is analogous to a new kid going into a playground to play. So when a new kid is at the playground, when they inject themselves into the group in the middle of a game, for example, that new kid has to figure out what are the rules. If that kid goes in with like, I don't like that, why don't we do this? You are in for a surprise, right? And someone's gonna end up crying, right? So it's like the tech job. When you walk in, you are the new kid in the playground. Your job is to figure out what are the rules here, how do you play this game, and then you play along. And then step number 1, that's step number 1. Step number 2, you decide if you like the game or not. Maybe it sucks, maybe it's unfair, and then you can choose. Do I keep playing or do I leave? Go to another playground. So I think that's important. And if you choose to stay, you can then decide, maybe we can change the rules. Guys, can we make this more fun? But you can't do it right at the beginning when you walk in and be all type A and be like, guys, let's not throw the rocks instead. Let's just do that. You won't be popular right at the beginning.
Yes.
So that's my opinion. It's a game. You walk into a company for the first time, into a tech role for the first time, you keep your mouth shut, to put it very harshly, and you observe. You get the vibe of the company, of your manager, and you figure out what is the game here. And you play along, and then after your probation period, when there's a new guy, then you can start to suggest that, hey, how about we try this? How about we do that?
Can I add one more little thing to it?
Yeah.
During the probation period on the playground, you kind of have to quietly sit around and see who's the bully, who's the nice kid, who might kick your little tush. Because you might want to stay away from that one.
Yeah.
You want to be careful. You want to see who's going to be your friend. Who's going to look out for you. Who's going to take a punch for you.
Yeah.
You want to figure out who are your people.
Correct.
So that's part of the game too.
That is real world advice.
It's survival. It's survival skills.
Yes. You go to a career coach or you go to HR, you are in some kind of an onboarding for your new company. No one is going to teach you, hey, watch out for assholes. Watch out for backstabbers.
And you gotta watch out for those on the playground, in your company, life, at the grocery store, because they're everywhere. Yeah. They will run you over with the carts. They will kick you in the ankles. Yeah. They will do all kinds of things.
Yeah. If I am giving advice to a person entering the tech industry and I have to do it formally on behalf of the company, of a company, I'll be very formal. I cannot say something like, so-and-so has a huge ego. I gotta be careful what you tell this person, your idea. But informally, which is more realistic, you do have to watch out for other people's personas and personality. Some people are very ambitious, right? They want to, they will step all over you, steal your work, take credit for your work, because they want to make themselves look good to the execs. There are people like that in the real world.
And I have no problem with driven people. It's, if they're driven, it drives them to success and to, innovate and
Correct.
be pushed forward and do all those great things. But if they're going to push you over and step on top of you to get ahead, it's like, I'm going to do that now.
There are people like that. There are people
So,
like that out there. Yeah, that's some real world SHIT
no.
right there. Yeah, good advice. I mean, when my son, my daughter is at the age where they're going into the workforce, I will tell them that.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
You gotta
That's
prepare them.
life skills 101.
100%.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
I hope this has been a good conversation. We are all over the place, from movies to playgrounds to wardrobe.
Well, I really enjoyed my time with you, as always.
Awesome,
Pleasure.
awesome.
Thank you, Steve. I really
Thank you so
appreciate
much for joining
having
me,
you
and I
here.
hope to have you on another show.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
Thanks.
take
It's
care.
been a
Bye-bye.
pleasure.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Bye.
Bye.